Ladies and gentlemen, this story kind of flew under the radar, but I'm glad I caught it. So, if y'all remember the night that Breonna Taylor was killed, Kenneth Walker, her boyfriend, shot Johnathan Mattingly, the cop. Well, this piece of crap had the nerve to try to sue Kenneth Walker and claimed that he willingly and maliciously shot him when all he was doing was protecting himself and Breonna Taylor that night. And don't forget and don't ever lose sight, these cops faked up this entire drug story. None of it was even real. So Breonna Taylor literally lost her life for nothing because these cops are trying to play games with people's lives. The case, ladies and gentlemen, was dismissed, and it should be dismissed. The nerve of this cop that botched up a raid got the nerve to try to sue somebody. And I really think the whole thing, he sees that Kenneth Walker is getting millions of dollars for everything that he went through with these cops. And I guess he figured he's going to come along and either take it all or skim off of it. And I'm glad the courts are not allowing this piece of garbage police officer to do this. If anything, his butt should be sitting in jail. Now, the case that's against these LMPD police officers has not gone to federal court yet. If you remember, the DOJ and the feds are suing them. So it has not happened yet. I have been checking. Lawsuit filed against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend by LMPD officer he shot during raid is dismissed. So, a lawsuit filed against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend by the Louisville Metro police officer he shot during the March 13th, 2020 raid on her apartment has been dismissed at the request of both sides, according to court records. Former LMPD Sergeant Johnathan Mattingly, who should be in jail, claimed that Kenneth Walker acted willing or maliciously while suing him in October of 2020 for battery, assault, and emotional distress. So, this cop, who really should be sitting in jail, you took an innocent life for nothing. And you're suing somebody. If anything, Kenneth Walker should sue your ass. So Mattingly, who retired from the department in June of 2021, had requested a jury trial, compensatory and punitive damages. Walker's conduct in shooting Mattingly is outrageous, intolerable, and offends all accepted standards of decency and morality. Mattingly's attorney, Ken Wicker, wrote in the lawsuit, Mattingly don't have any business suing anybody. So on Friday, the lawsuit was dismissed. So it was actually dismissed back in May by the Jefferson Circuit Court Judge Brian Edwards in an agreed order from both parties, each side paying their own cost and court fees. Kenny is happy to have this behind him and is eager to get back to rebuilding his life and honoring Breonna's legacy. His attorney, Fred Moore, one of Walker's lawyers, this is what he said. Attorney Bill Bremmel, who represents Mattingly, along with Wicker, confirmed the case was dismissed by agreement, but declined to comment any further. In a statement, WDBR Mattingly said he decided to drop the lawsuit after much prayer and decision with my family and attorneys. No, you really had no way of winning this case. Okay, y'all went to Breonna Taylor's apartment based on a lie, and you got the warrant based on lying to the judge. You really didn't have a leg to stand on. You had no choice but to back away from this whole thing because it really looks bad for the police officers. The unforeseen tragedy and tragic death of Breonna Taylor has caused pain and division in our community for over 3 years. I still believe much of the chaos caused by misinformation and lies could have been avoided had city leaders simply been transparent and honest from the beginning. Well, it was difficult because remember, Daniel Cameron got in the way and did everything he could to make sure these cops never, ever were punished or held accountable for what they did that night. It wasn't until the DOJ got involved, they're making people accountable now. However, it's past time to begin the healing process and bring Louisville back together. I pray this action can be the first step in the healing process. Yeah, well, I don't see y'all healing anything nowhere in the country, and you're not interested in that. But one thing y'all are interested in is playing it up for the cameras, because you know darn well you ain't interested in healing nothing in this country. So Walker, who has claimed he was acting in self defense, believe officers were intruders breaking into Taylor's apartment, settled a lawsuit against the city for $2 million in November. So that was the city. He also had a multi million-dollar lawsuit in federal court as well. And I don't know if that's either been settled or it's close to being settled because Kenneth Walker actually filed two different suits, one federal and one in state court. So Walker fired a single shot from a 9mm handgun that hit Mattingly in the upper thigh. When LMPD officers now, according to Kenneth Walker, they did not announce themselves. According to the cops that have lied about everything, they did announce the fact that they were police officers. So this was at Pleasure Ridge Park shortly before 1 a.m. Mattingly underwent surgery to repair his artery, whatever. You took Breonna Taylor's life. I don't feel bad for none of you. So Mattingly was a former sergeant. And then Miles Cosgrove, if you remember, I did a video on him. He's got a job with the sheriff's office in another county. And a lot of people went out there and picketed that sheriff's department. But this is what they do in America. You know, it's amazing how when it came down to Tennessee, now we know what happened to Tyree Nichols. They took those officers' peace license away from them so they could not pursue work anywhere else. But you notice the ones that murdered Breonna Taylor, they didn't do that to them. And this is all on purpose. Those were black officers. These are white officers. And they didn't take nary peace officer license away so that they can't go and be in law enforcement ever again. Just notice how it was done. So anyway, Mattingly's lawyers had argued that officers repeatedly knocked and announced their presence. Well, according to Kenneth Walker, they did not do that. Plus, the warrant that was issued was a no knock warrant. And neighbors all around said they did not hear any police officers announcing themselves. Okay. And that's why it says other neighbors, however, disputed their announcement claims. So the neighbors that lived all around there also said, just like Kenneth Walker, they didn't hear no announcement. All right. And then there was only one witness that lived next door to Breonna Taylor. He said he heard the announcement and then later recanted what he said. He said it out of fear. So the police were looking for money and drugs involving Jamarcus Glover, who also was not found with any drugs. He was not found with any drugs either, y'all. Who was at the center of a narcotics probe by Louisville police. A warrant for Taylor's home was executed the same time that police served other warrants on suspect drug houses in the city on the West End, some 10 miles away. Found no drugs, even says it in the article. Found no drugs. They didn't find nary drug that night that they raided these homes. So last August, the U.S. Department of Justice charged 4 officers with federal crimes in connection with the raid. Now, one officer has turned on the other, Kelly Goodlett, and she pled guilty to get a lesser sentence. And since then, she has been spilling the beans on everything from start to finish, how they made up the whole drug scenario, stormed Breonna Taylor's house. She even said that they killed Breonna Taylor for nothing. She lost her life for nothing. And she later admitted there was never any drugs found whatsoever. And some of the officers, they didn't even believe there were drugs when they raided the place, but they all went along with it. And I think they all should be punished. Yeah, you might have 4 officers. To me, all of them that showed up, they should all be held accountable. So she is the only one that's turned on the rest of them over the raid. And she ratted how they met secretly to come up with their story to tell the feds. I mean, this thing is a mess. So Goodlet right now is still working with prosecutors and possibly testifying against the other officers. She will not be sentenced until the trial of the other officers have concluded. So they're not on trial yet, but I'm definitely going to follow this. But y'all tell me what you think. I think it takes a lot of balls to try to sue Kenneth Walker. And they are the ones responsible for everything that happened that night. And Johnathan Mattingly was all involved in the whole thing, too. Just another shady ass officer that really shouldn't have been on a police force anywhere, but they like crazies like him. The crazier they are, the more they love them. Please tell me what you think about this story. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.